I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God with him.
But don't scare Negroes today with no badge or no white skin or no white sheet or no white anything else. The police the same way. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him? My brothers and sisters, we have to put a stop to this. And it will never be stopped until we stop it ourselves. They attack the victim. And then the criminal who attacked the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. Yes, sir. This is American justice. Yes, sir. That's right. This is American democracy. Yes, and those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Right. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. Right. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. These Negroes aren't asking for no nation. They're trying to crawl back on the plantation. These Negroes aren't asking for no nation. They're trying to crawl back on the plantation. A revolution is bloody. Revolution is hostile. Revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way. And you sitting around here like a knot on the wall saying, I'm going to love these folks no matter how much they hate me. No, you need a revolution.
But he certainly would support a study of reparations. We understands that we don't need a study to take action right now on systemic racism, so he wants to take actions within his own government in the meantime.
So Joe Biden said he want to study reparations before he give reparations for black people. But how long did he study the anti-Asian hate bill before he gave the Asian community $156 million? And how long did he study before he gave the anti-LGBTQ hate bill $100 million? And how long did he study before he asked Congress for $30 billion for Afghan relief? And how long did he study after giving Israel $3.8 billion? But now Joe Biden has another group that he wants to give reparations to.
Administrations in negotiations to pay millions of dollars in reparations to families who were separated at the U.S.-Mexico border under Trump's zero-tolerance policy. The payments would amount to $450,000 per person.
Men are taught that they have to make women happy. The fact of the matter is, you can't make anybody happy. You have to make yourself happy. Happiness is a byproduct of achievement. So for women to say that they're unhappy, it's their own fault. Anybody who says he's unhappy, it's his own fault. Everybody has to make himself or herself happy.
You're giving me such a bloody headache. Yeah, I mean, where are you from? Where are you from? Dear Lord, I would never in a million years teach my girls that they have to grow up to be reliant on a man, as you can well imagine. I would never teach my son that he should be
wonderful.
attracted.
But Tracy, you're the same one. You're the same one who brags that she's so strong and so tough and doesn't need a man's money. Yet you're taking alimony.
City boy, city boy. Got him. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Oh, by the way, my name is Astra.
My name is Dashiki. That's Swahili for doggy style.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Those are my kids.
Hello, everybody.
Now, children, what do you say when you meet a nice man?
Are you my daddy?
We are the Muslim wing of the black grassroots. Unapologetic, strong, uncompromising voices that have been in the faces of the enemy and those who tap dance for them. The Feachaz is proud to present the archives exclusively on Patreon.
Salaam Alaikum. Salaam Alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah, wa salatu wa salam Rasulullah wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. As to what follows, family, friends, foes, haters, and hatettes, we welcome you all back to another episode of The Feachaz. I greet you all in peace and love with no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And today's show, a brother sent me something from, one of the old school, you could say like Black Manosphere, before Black Manosphere, right? The brother's name is BGS IBMOR, right? And this brother's incredibly intelligent, and he put together, and I just watched maybe like a minute of this video that he put together. So, and I was like, you know what? I have to do a live on this topic because it's one and a most important topic, and it's something that unfortunately is largely neglected in the Muslim community, particularly the Black Muslim community, where you know very well that Black Muslims are suffering from this very issue in the Black community, and it's going largely unaddressed. As a matter of fact, the only person I know that has been consistent in addressing the marriage implosion and destruction that's going on in the Black community is Shadid Muhammad. That's the only person I know that's been consistent from years back. And now we have the brothers from Pure Islam. They're tackling this subject now, right? However, this subject is so, it should be front and center for every single Black masjid. And I don't understand why, it's being neglected. Well, I do have an idea, actually, because this behavior was largely promoted by foreign influencers, mostly from spubs in them, where they would essentially create an environment of taking terms on sisters in the masjid. So sister will become Muslim, and she would just get passed around, get marriage and stuff, right? But now we have a disaster zone with regards to marriage. So I'm going to do this live reaction. I have not watched this video at all. We're all going to be in the same boat. I'm going to put the link for brothers and sisters to join me if they want to hop in, right? And I just want to give salams to the brother Naeem Hayakullah. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh to the brother Black Man 302. Wa alaikum salam to the brother Ricky Colin. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam to the brother Kevin Ukman. And yes, these statistics are shocking but not surprising. But we're going to get into it. Now, before we begin, let me just show you some stuff. Because as you know, in the features, we actually talk about this. This I don't understand how this topic is not being talked about more, to be honest. It should be front and center. It's probably, in my opinion, top 3 issues facing the Black community, especially Black Muslims. It should be right there. You know, this particular topic should be dealt with. So I want to share some stuff with y'all. Just give me a moment. Let me just get this all set up, right? And just show you how the mindset is being pushed. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh, brother Mizan Ahmed. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh, brother Abu Sufyan. So let's get into it, shall we? Let me just share this with y'all. Now looky here. For those of y'all who are old folks like myself, who remembers Miss Tia Mowry? Who her? In the chat if you remember Tia Mowry. Put in the chat if you remember her. So Tia Mowry recently, not even over a month ago, decided to end a 14-year marriage. And why did she decide to end a 14-year marriage? With children involved in this marriage. To a Black man who loves her. Okay? Why did she decide to do this? Because at the age of 44, she thought it was time for her to return to the streets. We are talking about Sister. Okay? The show Sister. Always a very squeaky clean image. Now, this article, it starts off, Tia Mowry chooses to choose the joy in hard times amid divorce from Corey Hardrick. Now, for y'all who were following this story, the first reaction, knee-jerk reaction from the community was, well, what did her husband do, right? Because it's always the man's fault. I mean, it's always the man's fault, isn't it? It always got to be the man's fault. But what we are seeing is women, particularly Black women, are divorcing their husbands at an 80% click. All divorces that happen are initiated 80% of the time by the woman. In Islam, we have a solution for that, don't we? You see, in Islam, the man, he can divorce a woman, correct? He pronounces talaq, and that's it. Woman's divorced. Because a man typically will think logically before he makes a decision to destroy his family. Women are not like that. If they are requesting a divorce, they have to go through a khula. Correct? They have to seek permission from the men in the community before they get a divorce. Why? Because of this stuff. Because of this stuff. A woman with no reins on her thought processes will just go buck wild and destroy an entire family. And when you destroy a family, you're not just destroying the lives of individuals, you are weakening entire communities. But look at here, Tia Mowry is looking onward and upward. See how they pitch this. The actress Corey Hardrick did nothing but love this woman. That's it. That was his only crime. He was clearly distraught on social media, begging for Tia Mowry to take him back. You know, expressing his undying love for Tia Mowry. Okay. Mowry tells people she is all about just really taking time to tap in and take care of myself through meditation, through affirmations, going through therapy, and really continue to work on myself and grow. I always say, chase the joy. How many times have we seen this? That Black women will implode their own relationships and their happiness chasing the greener grass on the other side of the fence. How many times have we seen this? This is not unique. As a matter of fact, this is the absolute norm when it comes to Black women. And there's a saying in physics, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. And this absolutely destructive behavior has a dangerous reaction and deplorable repercussions. Y'all hearing me? How many times have we seen these things happen? So now we're going to get into this video. Let me just add it here. Let me know if y'all can hear it. Just press run if y'all can hear it, okay? Let me play it.
Okay. This is something that I found because I was looking at a statistic that I remember that Kevin Samuels had quoted about the average Black marriage last 5 years. And a sub asked me to actually find a reference, and I'm still looking for it, to actually find a reference of that fact that the average Black marriage lasts 5 years. But I didn't find that, but the thing is, it led me into what I have right now, what's in front of me right now, which is a marriage to divorce ratio in the United States, demographic variation. This is 2018, and this is coming from the Bowling Green State University National Center for Family and Marriage Research. This is the national center, right? In other words, this is what they do. It's where all the data comes in and they disaggregate the data so that we can kind of understand it. So this is really an official source. But there's certain things in here that kind of stood out to me and kind of shocked me, really. And really, I had to go take a drink and lay down after I kind of realized it. But something we always knew. I've said it for many years. When you see it in your face, it's still shocking. Okay, so we're going to go through this. First, we're going to read kind of like the overview, which is the first paragraph, and then we're going to get to what I want to talk about. Okay, marriage to divorce ratio in the U.S. demographic variation 2018 is actually published in 2019. The marriage to divorce ratio was 2.2 in 2018, meaning there were slightly more than 2 marriages for every 1 divorce in the United States. In this profile, we present the marriage to divorce ratio for women across different demographic characteristics: race, ethnicity, educational attainment, and age. In addition to providing women's marriage and divorce rates across characteristics, although the ratios and rates are similar measures, they each provide a unique lens on marriage and divorce in the United States. Thus, we chart both to provide a more nuanced picture of marriage and divorce. The marriage to divorce ratio is calculated by dividing the number of women's marriages by the number of women's divorces for a given population in a given year. The marriage and divorce rates are calculated by dividing the number of women who experienced the event, marriage and divorce, in the last 12 months, by the number of women who were at risk of the event. In other words, people could possibly get married or divorced, right? For more information on how marriage and divorce rates are calculated, see charting the marriage and divorce in the United States, the adjusted marriage rate, and charting marriage and divorce in the U.S., the adjusted divorce rate. Okay, we might do that. For more on the marriage divorce rates for 2018, see marriage rates in the U.S., geographic variation in 2018, and divorce in the U.S., geographic variation 2018. A marriage to divorce ratio can be over 1.0, even if the divorce rate is higher than the marriage rate, because the rates are calculated using those at risk of experiencing the event in the denominator, whereas the marriage to divorce ratio is calculated using the events, marriage and divorces themselves. Okay. In other words, one is in the denominator, the total number of women versus marriage to divorce, and then the ratio is the marriages and the divorces themselves, if that makes sense. Really like the number 30, like here with the number 32. The rate, okay, 32.1 is per 1,000 people, per 1,000 women. So in a given year, 32 out of 1,000 women will get married or divorced or something like that. That's what they're talking about. So one is the total number of people in the population, and one is the ratio is one against the other. Okay. Marriage to divorce ratio by ethnicity. All racial ethnic groups had more marriages than divorces. Other race women, including Asian, American, Indian, Alaska Native, and most racial women. In other words, the other is all the smaller portion of people, but the leftover folks, like leftover women. 3.0, meaning 3 women married in 2018 for every 1 woman who divorced. In other words, we're talking about when they said the 3.0 or the 3, which is this one, which is that one. In other words, if you look at the ratio between the 12.4, which is marriage rate Okay, that's what they mean. The difference between the two is 3.0. The second highest ratio is found among Hispanic women, followed by white. These are the bars, followed by white, and then black women are actually the last. We're going to get to that. So in other words, the highest marriage to divorce ratio was others, which is Asian, American Indian, and multiracial, followed by Hispanic, as we can see. Third is white. And then last are black people, which is unique. The second highest ratio is found among Hispanic women, followed by white women and black women. But here's the rub. Here's the rub. We're the only group that had a higher divorce rate than marriage rate. There's 31 divorces per 1,000 married women age 15 and older, and only 17.3 marriages per 1,000 women.
How many times have we quoted this on this channel? So if you thought it was cap, if you thought that we were just embellishing, this is another study that wasn't done by the University of was Brown's University, the study that we pulled out. A completely different independent study saying the exact same thing. For every one black woman that gets married, 2 of y'all get divorced. And this is, even in my humble opinion, from my own observations, from my bro science, it's exponentially higher in the Muslim community. If y'all don't believe me, try to find the black Muslim women who are like us, from the West, Westerners, okay? Not Africans, Westerners. And in some instances, you can even say Africans, even particularly mostly Somalians. Even though some from the Somali community, they out there talking about, oh, we ain't black and stuff. That's what they saying. We ain't black. Running around acting like niggas, okay? But we ain't black. You can see this happening in your own community. Look at Canada's top 10, top 50 most wanted in Toronto and the country, whatever. Look at the large percentage of these most wanted people who are Muslim, number one, and the majority of those Muslims are Somalian. But you're talking about you ain't black. Like your blinders are firmly on to what's going on in your community. But that's a different story, a different video for a different time. What we are talking about here, go and find the foundational the indigenous blacks from the West who are just married to one man from the women, never been divorced. Try to find these women. Just try to find them. I promise you, you will have the hardest time to find black women, black Muslim women, who have never been, like they've been married, but they've never been divorced. And who is the one always initiating these divorces? So now you have the stats right here. And on top of that, the same destruction that's happening right now currently in the black community, with black women taking their men to court, weaponizing the judicial system against their men, making sure that the fathers do not see their children, all this stuff, same thing happening with the Muslims, exactly the same thing. And then you wonder why black folk, your black children, are out there in the streets shooting each other up. Y'all think it's cap. You don't believe me. Let me try to see if I can find. I don't know if I but we put the video out many times of the graveyards in Philly. Many times we put that video out here. And it's not just Philly now. Recently, we had a situation in Canada where a Somali sister was in the club, 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, was stabbed in the neck, bled out, and died in the club in her halter top. Y'all hearing me? She died in the club in her halter top. It was on video. And y'all gonna pretend like these things ain't happening? So we have a situation here. This is a very, very, very serious situation. There is no such thing as any black community without no black family. Black women are destroying their families. And not only that, they're bragging about it. What are they telling the people? I really feel like where I am in my life now, I realize that life is it's also very short, and we all have to choose our joy and choose being happy. How do you choose being happy? Divorcing good husbands. That's how you choose to be happy. Talking yourself out of your own happiness. Y'all hearing me? But anyways, let's get back to this room.
Remember why we used to tell you that black women actually get married less and divorce more? It wasn't always that way, but this current iteration, of boomers, Xers, millennials. Now the disease in millennials are probably.
I want to address this part where he said it was not always that way. So let me find this thing for y'all. 1 second, okay? You guys, look at here. You know the Feachaz. He always, is putting himself in the firing line for you, right? So at least like, subscribe, or share. Go on to Patreon. We have Patreon starting at $3. Support the Patreon. Send super chats or whatnot. But support the channel. Because we are out here like in the gutter doing this stuff. How many imams have you seen, talking about this specifically? Do you not think this topic deserves some attention? So I want to show y'all something. Just give me a minute. Let me try to find it here. I had it here. Where is it? One second. Did I have it up here? Let me try to find it. trying to get the actual link. I don't know why this link is not working. I just had it, and now it's not working. Okay, I'm just going to show you all like this. 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Let me try to find this for you. And if you're gonna see, if you see this, you'll be shocked. Just like something like that. But anyways, BGS was saying that it wasn't always like that. Up until 1970, let me just find it for you. I think I got it. 1 second. Can I get it up? Come on, where is it? There it is. I got it. Okay, 1 second, y'all. Okay, so let me show y'all. This is from blackdemographics.com, okay? Up until 1970, late 60s, Black women were more likely to be married than white women, as you can see. What happened in the late 1960s that caused this to shift? What happened? Where are my intelligent Black people at? What happened in the late 1960s that caused a sharp rise in Black women not being married? And it's like almost like more than a 45-degree angle. What happened? Around the same time, you can see here, before the 1960s, more married than white women. Only around 10%. No, not in the 5% rather, of Black women were unmarried. Thank you. Sister Tika got it. The feminist movement happened. Black feminism. Remember, feminism, when it started, feminism was started by women like Katie Lang and the women's suffrage movement in order to prevent voting rights. White women, mind you, they wanted to be included in the amendments. And Katie Lang made it very clear that how can Sambo, who can't even read the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, get rights before white women? That's how it started. Why were they fighting? Why were they fighting these white men? Because these white women started getting ownership of property. What were the property? Land and slaves. So when the Civil War was ended, that's how women's suffrage started, to prevent specifically Black men from having the right to vote before white women. So there was no such thing as feminism in the Black community. The closest you think you had was Sojourner Truth. That's the closest thing you had to a black feminist back then. But other than that, there was no such thing. That started in the 70s. What was going on in the 70s? Or the 60s, rather. What was going on? The Black Power movement was going on. And the CIA funded the new black feminism. Strong, black, independent woman. Y'all hearing me? And when that happened, along with Uncle Sam coming into the homes of black women saying, we will pay for your homes in these projects as long as you do not have the men or the fathers of your children living with you. We will pay your rent. What did black women choose? They chose to have surrogate fathers, black children. And that's when you start seeing the sharp rise in the single black woman. I don't need no man. I can raise a child all by myself up until this very day. That's what happened. Look at this. Black women chronically single. And on top of that, making sure to exit black men out of their homes because the government pays their rent. I don't need no man. Why don't you need no man? Because the government is paying their rent. The government is buying your food and stuff. That's why you don't need no man. You can do it all on your own. So let's get back to this.
But you have a whole bunch of boomers and Xers that are getting divorced. So in 2018, your divorce rate is twice marriage rate. Almost twice your marriage rate. That's 1.5, 1.6. Yeah. Even though the bars are there, this should be a negative bar. The ratio is upside down. Basically, if you actually extend it, that bar should look like this. It shouldn't be up here. If they did a proper chart, that bar would be negative. This is actually a negative number because these are all positive numbers. This is a negative number. Remember, I said that my mentor, she said, black men and women are organized in reverse order to nature. We're opposite of everybody else. We're opposite of everybody else. Black women think that they're normal, that our culture is normal. Our culture is been devastated. This is what Monahan was talking about. Monahan was talking about that. He couldn't understand it, that welfare worked for everybody else. And they kept their families intact. Welfare didn't grow, out of wedlock rates didn't grow, marriages stayed intact for whatever reason. And I have my suspicions, for whatever reason, it doesn't work for black women.
That goes, he's talking about the Moynihan report. It was done in, 1968 by Mr. I believe his name is David Moynihan. He was commissioned by the government to find out what is going on with these black families. And we talked about this on this channel. And at that time, the black infidelity, what is an infidelity? What, not infidelity. When you have a child out of wedlock, what do you call that again? When you do those children out of wedlock, that rate at that time was 25%. And he called that a disaster. 25%. What's the rate today? Do y'all know? Y'all know what the rate is today? Of children born out of wedlock? Legitimate. Thank you. Asiyada Muhammad. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Illegitimate children. The illegitimacy rate was 25% back in that time, 1968, I believe it was. Okay. If you go back to this chart, does not that coincide with the and single women, single black women? And black women are the only women on earth that think it's normal. Thank you, Kevin Lukman. It is now 70%. 70% of black children are born illegitimately. We are the only people on earth with that number. Furthermore, these marriages to black women in Islam are an absolute joke. They are a joke. You have both men and women who really shouldn't be thinking about getting married and producing children that might as well be illegitimate. And then you have your imams. Shout out to Musa Richardson, okay? Talking about, well, at least you didn't have no child out of wedlock and stuff. That's your solution? That is what all you got to say? At least you didn't have a child out of wedlock? So what you're telling me is that we low-key can have a muta culture because at least you're not having children. No type of counseling or marriage classes or family studies or home ec or nothing like that. Let's take all these women, all these convert women, put them through a course or something, get all the married women that have been married for at least 20 years to teach these women how to be wives. We will pay them with the masjid money. We'll take our donations for our carpet and give these women money to train their sisters how to be wives and mothers. How not to talk back, how to clean, how to cook, how to be cooperative. No, let's not do that. Let's tell the people, well, at least you didn't make zina. Go out and get married again and get divorced and make some more children. But whatever you do not make zina. Don't do that. Look at this. This is exactly the Moynihan game. And that's what we've seen this stuff. And now it's out of control. It's been out of control for the last 30, 40 years anyways. And when your imams do decide to talk about this, what are they talking about? The virtues of marriage. The Islamic ruling on divorce. The completing of half your religion through marriage. Like, do you not see the nuclear bomb that is called marriage happening in the Muslim community? You don't see this? So you're giving the Muslims theory? Instead of trying to tackle the problem like it's an actual problem? Where are my super chats? Where are my super chats? There are 20 of y'all. You gotta be kidding me. I am out here doing the job of your imams. I don't have to be doing this, right? But hopefully, inshallah, will encourage your imams to take on this topic very seriously. And I have one single super chat. What's wrong? What's wrong, y'all, man? You got to be tripping. Are you tripping? Anyways. There was these music awards. If you look at the news of these music awards, who are the people that they are rewarding for Black people? They rewarded, what's that dude name? Lil Nas X, did they not? They rewarded him. Now they're rewarding this skinny, bliggity black Neanderthal, Glorilla, for a song. You know what her song is? Nut Quick. Do I have to explain to you what Nut Quick is? They're giving this woman rewards for a song like that. Why do you think they do that? Because they want good for the Black community? But who's listening to this music? You see, when your children going to the mosque on Fridays, because it's a chore for them, what's the imam saying? Oh, don't listen to music, it's haram. That's it. Who's resonating with that message? Which child is listening to that? They can't wait to get out of your boring lecture so they can go back to school and listen to music. Y'all hearing me? Jazakallah khair, brother. Kempty, may Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you 1,000-fold. Ameen. 10,000-fold. Ameen. Wa fikum barakallah. This is what's going on. So now, we see in the chat, brothers are saying even the Pakistani community, this is happening too. Why do you think that is? Hip hop is the most influential genre on earth. Commandeered and taken over by people hostile to Black people. And now, y'all Muslims got to deal with it because your children love hip hop and they too are being influenced by the enemy's destructive plot against Black people. So you can hate Black folks all you want, but your Pakistani sons and daughters and your Arab sons and daughters, guess what? They're Negroes today. They are Negroes today. Because of hip hop. Ignore us all you want to. But your children are not ignoring us. Y'all hearing me? So let's.
And our Black women and men were actually forced together. And in fact, you read Diane Stewart's book, Black Love, Black men and women were actually forced together. They were forced to get married. They were forced to be in monogamous single family household. Okay. And for whatever reason, we made the best of it. We tried to follow the script, but when an alternative came through, guess what happened? We broke up. Because being together as Black men and women is not organic to us. And that's what Moynihan found out. And he said it, black, because of horrible mistreatment, because of the damage that slavery and Jim Crow had done to black people, they could not function the same way everybody else does. And still today, people think that slavery and Jim Crow and all that stuff is all in the past. No, it still has an effect on you. Now, I've always said that why are black women the least married and the highest divorced? And every time I've said that, especially the black women, they always snickered. It's always funny to them because in the back of their mind, they said, this Negro does not know what he's talking about.
I would like to just add to what BGS is saying here is that there's a culture with black women where they find the sense of joy and victory in destroying their relationships, and they brag about it. I left his ass. Yes, I did. And they put it on their social media. And when they do that, there are floods of other black women cheering this behavior on. Am I wrong? Sisters, if you are in the chat, am I wrong? Put it in the chat, yes or no. Just the woman, just answer, am I wrong? Let's see if I'm capping here. A sister will break up her relationship, go on her social media, brag on social media about how she destroyed her relationship. And the sisters come and cheerlead this. And we're not talking about non-Muslims. The non-Muslims, we know they do this. Muslim women do this. Muslim women do this. And they're making dua, alhamdulillah, you know, Allah bless you for destroying your, you know what I mean? Like what? Where are the women of Jannah? The women of Jannah who know very well that their ibadah is in service to their husbands to set these women right. And then when the brother comes and says, sis, what are you doing? They have all kinds of sob stories, endless sob story. This man did this man did that, this man, he did, and that, and he did this, and this and that, and that. The endless sob stories that come after that, after she just, you know, basically big up her chest and how she ended her happiness and ended her family, nuked her family, just nuked it. Did not think twice about doing it. And she went on social media not to inform the people, but to brag about it. So that she can get encouragement from her other sisters saying, yeah, you did good. You did good. Na'udhu billah. May Allah rid us of these women. Ameen. And as for the men that marry these types of women, you are just as bad. You are part of the problem. You went out and tried to save that, and you caused more destruction in your community. You need to be dealt with. Any program that you watch with black women on it, this is part of the culture. They brag and are happy and boastful about how they left their men That's why this stuff continues to happen. Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply for you 10,000-fold, Sister Asiata Muhammad. We as Black women need to be reminded to use discernment. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll take it a step further. If you sisters keep reminding the heifer squad to fear Allah, and they don't take heed, they get arrogant, free yourself from them so that we can know the good woman from the evil ones. Believe me, the good woman, they will be able to find a husband. Just trust me on this one. Trust me. There needs to be a separation. Let us see who you are. Everybody say Ameen for Sister Asiata. Y'all hearing me? Jazakallah khair, Brother Mizan. May Allah reward you and bless and multiply it for you 10,000-fold. Ameen. Say, everybody say Ameen for Brother Mizan as well. You know, Black culture is spilling into the Muslim community quicker than a wildfire. And I keep saying on this channel that the Black struggle is the Muslim struggle. If you want to know what's going to happen to Muslims, you need to look no further than the Black community. So it is incumbent for the Muslims now to go into the Black community. It is in your best interest to clean it up. Because when you clean it up, you're cleaning up your own community. We Black folk, we don't got to do anything except for work on ourselves. All the work that we have done, every other community has benefited from it. Every last one of them. We done marched in, sat in, lied in, beat up, got hit upside our heads, land taken away from us, children taken away from us, money taken, lives taken away, all kind of stuff, so that all other people groups can live comfortable off of our backs. And on top of that, the anti-Black dawah that's going on social media is just delicious, far and widespread. People who take advantage of the very same programs that Black people specifically fought for are now turning around and telling Black people, oh, we don't believe in no affirmative action or whatchamacallit. What did Muhammad Hijab say again? Left. He called it reparations. We don't believe in that. That's kind of leftist. Muhammad Hijab, imagine that. It is in your best interest. And even if you don't help the Black community, that's fine. Allah is enough for us anyways. Allah is sufficient for a helper. However, you can get the reward from Zaddy or you can get the reward from Allah. It's really up to you, really. Watch your children get more into hip-hop. You just watch. You just watch. For someone getting divorced is a symbol of victory over masculinity and a badge of honor. She gets congratulated for it among women. This is the reality amongst Black women. You understand? A stupid thing to say It doesn't really help Islam pandering to the alt-right. Thank you. Thank you, Mizan. It does not at all. Or it doesn't help Islam to pander to liberalism. I was talking to a brother earlier today, and he sent me some video about some Muslim students. I think it was in Britain somewhere, right? Where a gay Muslim gave a talk in front of Muslim students talking about it's okay to be gay, and he never saw anything in the Quran and Sunnah and whatnot, right? That's saying it's haram to be gay and whatnot. So the Muslim students, they're the ones who stood up. The students stood up like lions, right? And my response to the brother is that this didn't happen overnight. This is over 3 decades, okay? 3 solid decades of Muslims telling Muslims to be involved in the political process and to vote liberal. 3 solid decades, and this is the result. Because liberal governments let you into these countries, and now you feel beholden to the Kafir Liberal Party. And now you see the fruits of what you have sown, and now you have to reap what you sow. You have to reap it. Black Muslims I never seen a black Muslim ever say, talking about, be involved in the political processes. The political processes are part of Islam. Always Easterners. Now you have this reaction where Muslims are now accepting alt-right political agendas and calling it Islam, just like the liberal Muslims used to do. Exactly the same like the liberal Muslims used to do. Y'all hearing me? Both the left and the right is 100% kufr. If that's not kufr, there's no such thing as kufr. I'm sorry to say it. You know what I mean? Sheikh Haytham Haddad, it's wajib for the Muslims to vote. Wajib. He's saying it's wajib. And if you don't vote, you're sinning in Islam. Who do you want to vote for? The liberals. These are the results. Because you didn't know the system. You didn't know how evil and wicked the system is. You're just happy that you're not in your bombed out, depleted countries, and Zaddy and them let you live with them. And you thought Zaddy and them loved you, when really they only love the power that you give their party. That's it. Now you reap what you sow. You should have just, made dawah and helped the people who were in the gutter to begin with. Allah would have helped you. But because you sided with the enemy of Allah, now this is your reward. Anyways, let's keep watching this video. I'm getting sidetracked here.
And he's just trying to be mean and talk down and talk bad about black women. And absolutely, this is not the case. It is not the case. I'm not trying to talk down and talk bad about black women. I'm trying to actually identify a problem that is so severe that it should have been addressed 60 years ago, which was attempted to be addressed 60 years ago. But little white women and independent black women did not want it to be heard. And something that I've learned about matriarchies, even though they proliferated throughout the world of human race since the beginning of time, right? If you can't attract your men and keep your men, matriarchies actually die. They go extinct. That's the problem. If you can't bring in men, if you can't hold on to your men, your social group is gonna die. Your culture is gonna die. That's what you see right now.
This is not necessarily a bad thing, actually. Who wants this forced upon us black culture to die? Please say yes or no. Who wants the heifer patrol to go extinct? Who wants these over-sexualized simp Negroes to not have women anymore? Just say yes or no, please. Put it in the chat. Do you want this black culture to die? I don't need no man culture to die. You want this to die? You want the trap music culture to die? Gang culture to die? Do you want it to die? Single motherhood culture to die? Worker girl, twerker girl culture to die? Who wants it to die? I want it to die. If these women never get a man in life, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Look at Kev D. Kev D said it in all kind of languages. Like every language you can think of. Yes, we, see, nah. Do you think these Pookie and Ray Ray R&B skinny ass Molly Percocet face tatted Negroes should be multiplying anymore? And then sending their badass kids amongst us to take care of them so they can shoot our kids? You know what I mean? Or should they just die out? I'm cool with them going extinct. We always say let them heifers go extinct. We're not joking about that. We really want those heifers to go extinct. Black feminism in all of its parts must die. And the only way it's going to die is if we have a clear distinction. You see, this is why Islam is so powerful. Because all the solutions for all these problems are actually in Islam itself. It's there. But when you are investing in your own indoctrination, practicing Islam the way it's supposed to be practiced looks impossible. And it's not. Allah would not send us an impossible religion to follow. We make it impossible. We do it to ourselves. And the quicker we take responsibility, the quicker we can get some stuff. It won't die whilst the elites keep promoting it. It's designed to destroy families and to bastard our younger generations. You know, the thing about Islam is that we don't necessarily have to kill out that culture. You know what I mean? We just have to promote Islam. That's it. And the people will decide. Because what will happen is you're going to have the people who are upright, the people who are not, the people who are shayateen, and you're going to have those people who are undecided. But if you make Islam look weak, then what is the incentive for these people to become Muslim? If everything to you is theory and you're not actually going in the streets and into the fire and pulling people out of the fire, then we have the architects of modern Muslim thought in 2022 aren't even Muslim. That's what we doing. I'm gonna repeat that because y'all didn't catch it. The architects of modern Muslim thought in 2022 aren't even Muslim. What do you mean, Bilal? What do I mean? Who are the personalities that your Muslim influencers promote? Just put their names in the chat. I want to know that I'm not tripping. Put their names in the chat. Who are the personalities that your modern Muslim influencers promote? Put some of their names in the chat, please. Thank you. Thank you, Jordan Peterson. Not to mention Donald Trump. Not to mention Andrew Tate before he was Muslim. Before he was Muslim. Y'all hearing me? These are the architects of modern Muslim thought. They get it? So going back to what Mazan was saying about it won't die. Yeah, you're right. It probably won't die, but it doesn't have to die. We have to take a stand. We are the ones who have to take a stand. Let's keep watching this.
America. This is bad now, okay? This is really bad now. It's only going to accelerate because the marriages of Black men and women are actually going to go down. And instead of it being married, the divorces that you see here, they're going to start to die. And as they die off, this group here is going to shrink. The number of Black women married is going to shrink. We're down to 25%. At this kind of marriage rate, we're going to be 17%. It's going to go down another almost 10% as far as the marriage rate. This blows my mind. Black women are divorced almost to the rate that everybody else is married, and their marriages are where the divorce rates are. It's flipped backwards. Does this make sense to you? And Black women think that they got it going on. They wish they had something similar. And I might do something similar with a bar chart and put it together, the bar chart, and actually do one for the men, because I'm curious about the men. But this is insane. 80% of all divorces are filed by women. This is not a man problem. This is a woman problem. And if what is true about the average length of a Black marriage is 5 years, and Black women file for divorce at 80%, Black men are not the problem. There's no way Black men can be the problem, especially when Black men only make up 5% of the population. Black of the total.
I want to do a live, inshallah, about passport bros. You guys know what passport bros are? Passport bros is basically this almost like you can say like a red pill type thing, right? But not really. It's just Black men going overseas to seek marriage. They have opted out of the dating market in the West. And the reason I think this is important, and Black women need to hear this, is because before passport bros were a thing on social media and YouTube, the original, and listen to this and listen to this well. Listen to this and listen to this well. Every Black man knows what I'm talking about. Okay? Every Black Muslim man, anyways. The original passport bros, before even YouTube, before Facebook, before Twitter, were Black Muslim men. Let that sink in. The original passport bros, before passport bros were a thing, were Black Muslim men. Think about that for a second. How many brothers do you know, Black men particularly, got a Moroccan wife, got a Yemeni wife, got a Syrian wife, got an Egyptian wife? How many? And you know why that is? I promise you, every single one of these men who got these type of wives, I promise you, at least 99% of high 90s at least were married to a Black woman. I promise you that. High 90%, they were married to a Black woman. And they opted out. Some of them, multiple Black women. They married women with wife training. And those marriages are stable. Sisters need to hear this. Because what this man is saying, be just saying, is 100% true. It is 100% true. At this rate, what you're going to see eventually, I don't know if he's going to say it because, like I said, I haven't seen this video, right? You're going to see eventually that the indigenous Black family, or you're talking about like ADOS and these type of things, like like the indigenous, like people, children of slavery, right? Descendants of slavery, right? You're going to see that if this trend continues, then they're going to be a people that you read about in history books. They're not going to exist anymore. They're not going to exist anymore. Look at the stats. Look at the data. Black women are only ones, all backwards, divorcing twice as much as they're getting married. Everybody else is getting married twice as much as they're getting divorced. Y'all hearing me? So anyways, let's continue with this video.
Male population, Black men only make up like, so you tell me 90% of the other men are also rejecting you? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Now, Dr. Johnson wanted me to look at some of the other factors. Since we have the paper in front of us, we're going to look at some of the other things here. I'm saying is, I want you guys to actually lock that in. How the hell Black marriage is upside down like this? Why does this exist? They only have 4 categories, right? But they encompass all the women. How the hell are Hispanics that as a group are poorer than Black people able to have the second highest intact marriage, even with a large divorce rate? How, Sway? Anyway, let's go ahead and finish this up. Okay, marriage to divorce rate by educational attainment. There are substantial educational differences in marriage and divorce behaviors. The largest difference between those with a college degree or more relative to those with only some college or less. Women with bachelor's degrees had the highest marriage to divorce rate, almost 3 marriages per every 1 divorce, which is something that has been said. This is similar for women with a master's degree or higher. So for most people, having a degree means that you're going to get married more. I guess there's more money out there. Women with less than a high school degree or GED and some college had comparable marriage to divorce ratios, about 2 marriages for every 1 divorce. In other words, 50%. These are the bulk. This is where the 50% comes in, right? These people make the bulk of marriages. That's where the 50% divorce rate comes in. Almost 2, right? Those with less than a high school degree or education category to have a higher divorce rate than marriage rate. Okay, people on the bottom that are poor tend to get divorced more. This is almost the same way when you go to age. Okay, these are the bulk. So right here, and where the circle is, these are the bulk of the population, right? I would say these are the top, 10 to 15%. This is probably about 30%, and these are people at the bottom. I say about the bottom 10%, right? These people here. So this is about money. This is about money and access and resources. Okay, everybody knows what's the biggest factor in divorce: money. Okay, marriage to divorce ratio by age group. Now here's something that we're actually talking about, and this is something that we're going to have to factor in. And I think me, Sister George, and Concrete Rose are actually talking about this 15 to 24, or 18 to 24, is 18 to 25, as they say, about getting married before you know yourself. And the reason that this is so high is because they no longer make wives, right? They make partners. So if you don't know yourself, and you're trying to find a partner, you have a much higher likelihood of making a mistake, much higher likelihood of picking the wrong partner. Whereas if you look back in time, like prior to, I would say 1970, these were the most stable marriages. In fact, these were the bulk of the marriages from 15 to 24.
And we're going to go back to that stat that we showed earlier, because this is a fact. Look, if you look before 1960s, 1970s, when Black women were statistically more likely to be married than white women, during this time, mind you, during this period, Black people didn't have the educational access that white people did. And statistically, they were still getting married more often than white women, still after all that. And then over here, we see the rise of Black feminism and the pushing of Black simp culture. Strong, independent Black women don't need no man, all that kind of stuff. And as we mentioned before, Dr. Moynihan, he did the report, the Moynihan report, and he was stunned by the 25% illegitimacy rate amongst Black women. Now it's 70% illegitimacy, 70%. Y'all hearing me? If you think about some of your grandparents, Black folk, those of you who are my age, right? You know very well that your grandparents, they had been married 50, 60 years. It was till death to they part. It's only this generation coming up, these 30-year-olds and younger, that witness the single parent grandparent. They never seen a stable marriage within their families. Y'all hearing me? And on top of that, the number one reason for divorce, as BGS mentioned, is money. In Islam, that is not a reason for divorce. And then Muslims are still divorcing for this reason. The Prophet ﷺ, he would get the poorest men married. But in our time, because we don't want to compare the sisters or the brothers rather to the Sahaba unjustly, because what we must understand is that marriage requires certain skills. And what we have seen is that these skills have been horrifically stripped from Black women to the point where they are proud not even to have these skills. And they are looking and preying on simps because there will always be a steady stream of simps to come and try and save them. And the only way to get rid of that stream is to do stuff like this, to educate the people. All right, let's get back to the video.
I think I have to go back and look at it. Prime age or the peak age to get married back prior to 1970 was, I have to go back and look at it, was for a woman was like 19 or 20. Peak age now, if you look at it, is 31, between 28 and 31. That's like from the 25 to 34 age range has the highest marriage and divorces. Even though this is skewed, in 2018, there were 14 marriages for every one divorce among the 15 to 24-year-old. However, the highest marriage rate was among those aged 25 to 34, with 75.3 marriages per 1,000. Okay, because the peak moved. Okay, number one, teen pregnancy was killed for the most part because they made a concerted effort to bring down teen pregnancy and also teen marriage. And they actually pushed women to get more education, pushed women to college. So that's going to push the marriage rate up because college age people or people that do go to college tend to get married later. But all the negatives.
Now I want to talk about this comment that the sister Asiyata Muhammad made. First, we want to ask Allah to help you and aid you and to bless you and to multiply it for you 10,000-fold. Ameen. Everybody in the chat say Ameen for Sister Asiyata. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Everybody say Ameen for Sister Asiyata. Right? And she made a point here. At this rate, our population will become that of the Native American. There's a couple of things that we have to look at here. Okay. The reason why the Black population will eventually go into decline is because men, they themselves are actually opting out. The black men specifically are opting out to marrying Black women because of this stuff, because of this very thing. Okay. They are going overseas, right? They're seeking other. If you look at Black women, how they choose men, they are looking, the modern Black woman is looking for a thug. She's not looking for a long time. She's looking for a good time, right? Now, Islam is supposed to cure that. It's supposed to cure those ills, right? However, as we've seen a massive negligent attitude from the leadership about this issue, and it's not getting dealt with. And the reason why the Black population will decrease, or the Native Black population, is because, again, Black men are opting towards African women, South American women, Asian, other types of women, right? That's why that's going to happen. You understand? And for the good black woman, or the woman sister who is righteous and upright, and she's looking for a good husband, and this is why it's so important for the good black woman who don't want no parts of this to stick together, encourage each other, and to stay away and never be associated with the Heifer Patrol. Because the second you start doing that, you're going to be drawn in. And I'm going to talk about this on Saturday, actually, or this particular topic on the red pill prophecy. You understand? Because the birth rates, a brother made a point here. The birth rates in general haven't declined. Why? Because they're still having babies, but not in marriage. You get it? You're still having babies, but not in marriage. But what's happening now is we're seeing for the first time a phenomenon where now black women, they can't even find men. Because men are just basically opting out. And what you're left with is the Pookie and Ray Rays. And we have no issue letting the Heifer Patrol stay with the Pookie and Ray Rays. Just don't come around us. Don't bring yourself or your babies around us. We don't want our children going to school with your children. We don't want that. You understand? So, in terms of the black population, you got to also understand there was a point in a time in specifically America, also in South parts of South America, but if you're talking about America specifically, well, at one point in time, the black population compared to the white population was 5-1. For every black person, you had five black people, one white person. Why? Because of slavery. And white people were incredibly worried about this. And they were seeing what was going on in the Caribbean and Brazil with the revolts, the slave revolts. And so they made these programs in the States with meritorious manumission and things of this nature to make sure that the black population, right, every single time, every revolt that they had would be finally suppressed because some black person went for the biscuits and stuff. This is our history, okay? There was no successful slave revolt in the States, particularly because of this, right? Then in the Civil War, after the Civil War, because we're talking about black population rates here, what white people did is that they saw their newly freed black population, all these black men had guns, and they were worried about that. So they made laws at that time to make sure that black men didn't have weapons, black men didn't have tools, and they even used certain black militias to quell black revolts. Just let that sink in. And because of this newly freed black population, white people were very worried about that. During the times of, I would say after World War II, no, it was during around the same time actually of World War II, they made immigration policies for, I think, 20 countries. Guess where these 20 countries were from? You just guess. Countries that they never considered white before were now considered white, including Italians, including Portuguese, including Syrians. They now became white people. They offer them free land through something called the Homestead Act. And now when the world sees the US, Canada, these type of things, they think of them as white countries, when not even just 120 years ago, they were not white countries. They were run by white people, yes. But this is the demographic games that they play. Even hip hop music, the crack epidemic, AIDS, all of that, Ebola, all of that is used to control the populations of Black people internationally. Okay? This, however, the marriage thing is much more of a self-inflicted wound. I mean, yes, the enemy has a lot to do with it, of course. However, at this point in the game, we have to realize that this is not a them problem. This is an us problem. We are the only ones who can fix it. You get it? So good Muslim Black women to come to themselves that have patrol, they need nothing to do with them.
As far as divorces, and this is where the Black folks are in. 45 to 54, 55 to 64, all had more divorces than marriages in 2018. The only two positives were the ages of 15 to 35, okay, which is why we say that most women should get married before 30. The peak age to get married should be 26. And we're going to have to do something to fix this, because what happens when you get married at 35, which we call the wall, fertility goes down. And the likelihood of you getting divorced within 5 or 6 years actually increases. As you can see by these rates, so you might stay married a little longer, but guess what? Your divorce rate's going to be higher. That's something that's obvious. That's something that's obvious according to the stats. Even though peak age to get married is basically between 25 and 34, which is 31. Second, look at this. Second is 35 to 44 and on down. Basically, if you look at it, about the marriage rate in 15 to 24, right, it's 23. This used to be the highest. Now, the only people that actually get married less than the young folks are actually the old folks. You don't even get down to below 23 until what? Until you get past 55. Looks like the Z's and the old folks, the Z's and the boomers have a lot more in common than Gen X and millennials. This is Gen X and millennium. And you see the marriage rates skewing older and older and older. Pretty soon, 35 to 44. If this trend keeps up, 35 to 44, we'll swap places. This here, 75.3 used to be here, 15 to 24. But this feminized age has pushed marriage later and later and later. And now a lot of people are encouraging women to get married after 35. Interesting. Anyhow, I think this has gone on long enough. I think I made my point. This is just an added bonus. I'll put the link to the paper.
All right, family. So I really like BGS's material, right? But this one right here, like I said, I watched the first couple of seconds of it. And when he put that side, I said, I have to go live about this, because particularly Black women need to see that. And the rest of the Muslim community, they need to know this, because this is coming to a masjid near you. It's coming to a masjid near you. Your children are now obsessed with what they think is Black culture. And if you were smart, U.S. Chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Put it that way, okay? You can keep running a Zaddy if you want. But Zaddy ain't got no, you know, we had a situation recently where a black daddy was involved in some of the most outrageous, repulsive, repugnant cooning that I have ever seen done by non-Muslim or Muslim. This was some of the most outrageous cooning I've ever seen. Okay? And what you got to understand is that coon lovers do not love coons. For you Muslims, you Eastern Muslims, you don't know what a coon is. A coon is a sellout. A coon is a munafiq, an infiltrator, somebody who hates their own people and loves their master. Okay? Coon lovers do not love coons. What does this mean? You see how these coons, they always try to impress whiteness. They always try to impress Zaddy in them. Okay? Always trying to impress anybody that is not their people. When the people who are not their people see that, they don't take that as a sign of respect. They take you as a tool. How can I get this Negro to get other Negroes to sign off on shucking and jiving for me so I can get some financial benefit or whatever it is? That's how they see it. The day you wear out your usefulness is the day that they throw you to the curb. And if you don't believe me, just look at the situation with Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley lately. These two are about a hair strand's width away from not having a job after all that shucking and jiving they did for Zaddy against Kyrie Irving. After all that tap dancing, they still might be out of a job. Nobody respects a coon. Like nobody. It's a despicable characteristic to have. Absolutely despicable. Self-hate. And not just self-hate, but to push it and to have other people hate themselves. Despicable. If you display love for the oppressor at the detriment of the oppressed, you are a coon and a traitor and a sellout. It is in your best interest to help those who are trying to climb up. As opposed to seek biscuits from those who are throwing crumbs down. And I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks you all for joining me. I like to, well, hold on, we got somebody up here. Hold on, don't leave yet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Abu Yazid.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What you got for us, bro?
Another great show.
Jazakallah khair.
This show should be mandatory viewing for the Black Muslim community.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. Please
Subhanallah.
share it. Please share it.
Yes, definitely people need to share this one. And because you can argue against opinion, you know, everybody has an opinion. But when you start bringing out facts, you know, and you still have people, they'll argue against facts, but those are completely delusional people. But when I saw that video and I saw those numbers, it just blew my mind. I watched that while driving to work. I didn't even need coffee after that point because I was wide awake. What other group of? I mean, and I'm not. Let's just be real. This isn't bashing. This represents. I thought about this topic so long. It almost is changing my opinion about what can we do about the Black community. Can the Black community actually be saved, or is there going to be a Black community 2.0?
I think it's going to be a Black community 2.0. I don't think we should be in the business of saving people who don't want to be saved. I think we should be in the business of saving ourselves. Allah says in the Quran, save yourself and your family from the fire. And we should be around people who are like-minded like that. You understand? Like, there is always going to be Allah's enemies, and then the people who Allah protects, right? Who Allah saves. If you're interested in being a part of the party who Allah saves, it's there for you. But it requires an incredible amount of humility and self-reflection and accountability. And in order to succeed, you need to go even deeper than that, because that's not going to be enough. Humility is not going to be enough. Accountability is not going to be enough. Self-reflection is not going to be enough. You have to be disciplined. You have to be motivated and disciplined, right? Because motivation is still not going to be enough. Discipline is much more important than motivation. To do the actions consistent, whether you want to or not, right? How many times on this channel that we were like, even me, I told you a couple of times, man, I just want to drop this YouTube stuff, man. These people are crazy, right? These YouTubians are crazy, man. Look what they're doing, right? But we just show up. And we're consistent. You know what I mean? That's really a big part of it.
So basically, SYSBM is going to win out of the if you want to look at it from a manosphere red pill standpoint.
Well, here's the thing. For me, it's like this. Like, we have Islam already. You get it?
Definitely.
Like, Islam, it doesn't really need all that stuff. No. Like, Islam can stand on its own. However, the way that Islam is being pitched to the Black community is being pitched in a manner where it's theory and it's not practical. You get it? So this is why I have always advised Black women to listen to Kevin Samuels. I didn't advise them to listen to everybody in the Black manosphere. I don't agree with that at all. You know what I mean? There are some people that are just hostile to Black women. Like, I can't go tell a sister to go listen to Minister Jap or something like that. You know what I mean? You know what Minister Jap is? I can't do that, man. That'd be crazy, man. But Kevin Samuels, yeah, of course, it makes sense, right? Because Kevin Samuels, he's talking about Black marriage and these type of things, and being fit, feminine, these type of things, cooperative, submissive,
But I don't think that the message is getting. I don't think that message is. But look at the reaction that a lot of Black women had to Kevin Samuels dying. So I don't think that message is really going to get to the vast majority of black women.
That's why. That's what you see. Kevin D. Don't save a hat. She don't want to be saved. Exactly. That's. Let those heifers go extinct. Just let them go extinct, right? If you see them, just be like, cool. All right. Now you know what I mean. Like now we know what you're about. We are going to avoid you like the plague. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And they will go extinct. You know what I mean? Don't try to save them. You know, let them learn the hard way. Sister Shahrazad Ali was manosphere before manosphere. She was saying this in the 90s. She was getting ridiculed, you know, publicly. Now she is totally exonerated.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And like 90% of Kevin Samuel's like talking points he gets directly from Shahrazad Ali. You know what
so
I mean?
let's put it on the table. Let's put it all out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get, you know. All right. So me and you both know that Islam is the answer. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we say to the naysayer who says, but look at Philadelphia, look at Germantown, look at East Orange, Jersey.
We talked about this in detail.
Yes, we did.
Right? Even today on this show, you know, we mentioned that there was a culture of passing around sisters, new convert sisters. That is Philly. That is Jersey. Right? There was a culture where foreigners came in and they became the leaders of the black community. That is Hassan Somali, Omar Quinn, Richardson, people who are not us telling us what to do. People have no any type of invested interest in the black community at all. Right?
Don't even know anything about the community. They don't even know what the problems in the community are.
Either, right? And there has been a culture within black masajid where all they do is they order poor people to donate to the masjid. That's it. The money goes to we need a carpet, we need a furnace, we need paint. So you're building a building, you're not building the people. Which came first, the prophet or the masjid? Which came first, the Sahaba or the masjid? Right? The Prophet ﷺ was the character of the people. You don't do that. You know, and it's kind of, really to criticize from like a platform like this is a little bit raw, all right? You know what I mean? However, we know that
but we got to put it on the table.
Yeah, they were absolutely not acting in the best interest of the community. This is a fact. And the points that we made about the lack of concern of black imams when they see this happening in their community over and over and over and over again, right? This is why you put it on a table like this. You know,
not to be redundant, but a lot of the black imams' solution was brothers need to marry those sisters.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And many of us got caught up in that. And it's difficult to find a black brother who's been married to a black sister and stayed married. It's very difficult. All we see is marriages that are ticking time bombs. It's only a matter of time for these things end in divorce.
I just remembered a question I knew I was going to ask you. Okay. So if you looked at the information on that chart, I noticed there was a stark difference between the marriage rate and divorce rate of white women and black women.
Yeah.
Yet these are both American women who've been indoctrinated with feminism. So what's your theory on why has feminism affected black women differently than it's affected white women?
Because black feminism is not white feminism. Black people have to understand that. Black feminism is not asking for the same things white feminism is asking for. White feminism has, from the time it started, has been asking for what? With men. They want
equality,
equal rights, equal ownership, the right to vote. This is what white feminism was. White feminism was there to challenge black rights. Black feminism, which started in the late 60s, early 70s, what was it about? Was it about equal rights? Was it about equal pay?
No.
No, what was it about?
Being like white women. Or being like what black women thought white women were.
No, it wasn't even about that. What was it? It's always been the same since it started. And it's just multiplied more.
Independent on your own?
Thank you. That's what black feminism was. So the white feminist woman, she's a feminist, she's a white woman, and she's married with a family. Because these white feminist women do not talk about being strong, white, and independent single mothers. When have you heard a white feminist say that?
No, well, actually, I see white people who push. I see the people who push feminism on the one side. They push single motherhood, abortion, and unmarriage to black women. They're fighting like all these women out here fighting for abortion rights. They're fighting for abortion for black women. They're not planning on getting an abortion.
Exactly. Yes, and that was started with Margaret Sanger. She's the one who started it. She's the one who started Planned Parenthood specifically as a nuclear bomb for the black community. She was a eugenicist. You know, she didn't go to the black community and talk about, you know, we're giving you guys abortion because we want to control your population. That's not what she said. It's the same thing with Bill Gates. What is Bill Gates pushing in Africa? Is he pushing education? Educate the people? Is he pushing?
No.
Let's get some clean water. No. What is he pushing? He's pushing population control,
birth control, birth control, and
vaccinations. That's something for black people. So when they say feminism, when they say feminism, what happens is that people think feminism is just like one size fits all, women's rights. It's not the same for black feminism. Is very, very specific. It is not like the feminism of white women at all. Right?
What do you think? What do you think is the difference between? And it'll probably be around the same lines. What's the difference between the feminism of the immigrant Muslim woman and the black woman?
That is their own fault. That's their own fault. They didn't want to listen to us. They tried to kick us to the curb when we was warning them. You know, we've been telling. I have been telling Muslims this from I can't even from the time I became Muslim. I've been telling Muslims about this. Right? You can't play with these people. What are you talking about, liberal party and stuff? Are you kidding me? Which black? You know, if you're from the black grassroots and you've habitually been from the black grassroots, you see the left-right paradigm in the same type of light, right? Black people who are, you know, within this paradigm, okay, most of them always vote liberal, the vast majority. But why is that? It's because of the civil rights movement, right? And liberals have always promised black people the world and given them a whole bunch of nothing, right? So we've been telling the same thing. We tell them the same thing. Like, we understand that the Liberal Party gave you your visa, okay? We get it.
Okay.
But these people are very wicked. Don't go on the minbar talking about the democratic processes of Islam and stuff. I don't know how many khutbahs have you seen a black imam hop on the minbar talking about the democratic processes. Have you ever seen that in your life?
I've never seen it.
Now, how many?
Never seen it.
How many Arabs have you seen it? Have seen them talking about it, or even Pakistanis? Have you seen that before?
I've seen politicians. I've seen politicians at Jumu'ah.
There you go. So that's why I say that's their fault, because they put their children in this situation. Feminists are generally what? Are they conservative or are they liberal?
They are liberal.
Exactly. Is it any surprise that the Muslims who demanded that Muslims vote liberal, their children ended up becoming liberals, and their children are becoming? Is that a surprise now? Who's surprised about that crap?
No, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be surprised at all.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be. But see, I think, but that's just the. But people, a lot of these Muslim organizations prioritized, trying to get the butter biscuit from the Democratic Party that they were promised. They didn't. They were short-sighted. They didn't look. They didn't see. Well, what if our children? It didn't even occur to them that their children would digest those ideologies from the Democratic Party.
Well, here's the thing. The ironic thing is that the Muslims, they actually did. Black people never got the biscuits. Okay, they begged for the biscuit. We just got to whiff them. Okay, we got squat from liberal parties internationally. Okay, but the Muslims, they got stuff. They got stuff. Okay, that's why they have these massive, elaborate masajids. You know what I mean? That's why they always inviting these politicians for their Eids, and then these Kafir politicians are giving the Eid khutbahs and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why they do it, because they do get political biscuits, right?
Yeah.
In return for these biscuits, what do you think these Muslim admins of these masajid have to do for these politicians to get?
Well, the same thing that the Pastor Chicken Wing had to do. He had to get them votes. He had to gather those votes together and make sure that his congregation pulls the level for Democrat.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that is the
game.
That's the game. Furthermore, okay, they have to censor their imams. And since 9/11, the imams have been harshly censored.
Neutered.
Castrated. Yes. Okay? The imams,
which is amazing to me, because it's amazing to me. It's amazing because I can see, okay, over in France,
yeah,
if you give a khutbah and the French government doesn't like it, they can close down the masjid or they can cause you to get fired. But we don't have any of that here in America. And as far as I know, not in Canada.
That's because the French, they're not hypocritical about their hatred for Islam, right? They're not hypocritical about it. In the West, they have to act like they like Islam just as much as they have to act like they like black folk. They have to act like it, because if they don't act like it, right, they will lose a lot of power. You understand? So they have to pretend like they like black people. They have to pretend like they like Muslims. So what they do in the West now, because these imams, when's the last, Bilal Phillips, he's Canadian, he can't give a khutbah in Canada. Masjids won't let him give a khutbah in their masjid. Masajid. Bilal Phillips. They won't let him do it. Okay? Sheikh Abdullah Hakim Quick had hit pieces written on him in Canadian media. Okay? These are the imams who are getting silenced. They are being replaced by these effeminate, kebsa eating, biryani eating,
Islam means peace, brother.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're being replaced with. Many of them barely speak English. And the children are going to these masjids, either falling asleep or playing on their phones because nobody wants to hear these people talk. Nobody wants to hear them talk. Nobody but they are speaking. The masajid hired them to speak for one reason and one reason only, and that is exactly what LK has said here: immigrant yes men. Nobody wants to hear what they have to say. But because they can play ball, they put them on the minbar. And what do you think this generation of Muslims who have never in their entire life heard a khutbah that is relevant to them, what do you think is going to happen to them in 10, 20 years?
I already see the effects of it now.
We see it now.
I see it now. I can't. It's almost every. It's to the point now. I live in Southeast Michigan, where there's a large population of immigrants, and almost every week I run into a white boy that I'm shocked to find out his last name is Mohammed. Like, I thought you were just a regular white boy. Your parents are Arabs? Oh, do you pray? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Complete assimilation. Being left behind.
Me myself, my son. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to take him to the masjid. I never was embarrassed when I was. Were you embarrassed going to the masjid when you were younger?
No, that was the thing that besides the Quran itself, going to the masjid, going to the khutbah was the thing that that I look forward to.
We loved going to the masjid. We enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And it didn't make a difference what age you were, what country. There was brotherhood in the masjid. The khutbahs were fire. You always felt your iman boost after a Jummah khutbah all the time. Every single time your iman was boosted. You go to the khutbah now, you can't wait to leave. The masjids have become the churches. And this is why, because of this whole political game Eastern Muslims are playing. They think it's a joke. And as we keep saying on this channel, this left-right paradigm is kufr. It's kufr. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. You keep playing these games. You keep playing with these people. Yeah, you're gonna see. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, right?
So let's bring this aspect of the conversation. Let's bring it back to black people. Even with all the liberalism and the neuter imams, and with all what we see going on with the immigrant Muslim, does the immigrant Muslima want to be like the black man, like the black woman?
No, who wants to be like a black woman? Who wants to be like, looky here. Even the black men, right? You see, this is where the immigrant Muslim believes that they have an advantage, right? Because black culture is the dominant culture in the West, right? It is the trend-setting culture. If you want to sell anything or monetize any product, you have to refer to the black culture in order to make it poppin'. You understand? You have to do it. Right? And because of that, black are desired. Understand? So, immigrant Muslim women, and there's even YouTube channels about this. You'll find YouTube channels of Pakistani sister who's married to a Jamaican brother or something like that, and their kids and stuff like that. Now the Jamaican brother. Have you seen this stuff?
I've seen this stuff. I've seen the TikToks.
There you go. There you go. Right? Yes. But her advantage is that she has wife skills. She's not trying to be a black woman or replace the black woman. She just likes a black man. That's it. And then you have people who see this, right? And they start saying this
we're
stuff.
Not black. Let's stop talking like we're black.
Like we did something to them. We didn't do that, y'all. Did we do something?
I didn't do anything to them. It's not my fault.
Why didn't you go to the black community to make dawah?
Brothers, we're not black. Let's stop talking like we're black.
You could have made.
You know
now your brothers who are not black are being made dawah too, and that's why they're acting like that. We didn't do nothing to y'all.
Yeah.
You get me? But anyways, go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, just the amazing attitude of some, not all, but some immigrant brothers who think they could bring their wives and their children into this culture, and they had no idea that you don't think anything of this culture was going to affect your child. You don't think, you just thought you were just going to come here and, and your kids weren't going to be attracted to any aspect of this culture. But all you're thinking about that paycheck. You're thinking about that.
Dream away. We all got dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all have dreams.
But here's the third question. Okay.
Go ahead.
So if brothers, African American Muslim brothers, start, they're going to carry. We know human beings are going to carry on their genes and their seed. That's always going to happen. So black brothers are going overseas, bringing wives, or making hijra, or marrying certain women here who may not necessarily be Adolfs. FBA. With more of these marriages producing children, how do black Muslim men, black men in general, how do they protect their seeds from the seed of Pookie and Ray Ray?
Don't come back. Be smart, man. Be smart. You know what I mean? Allah's earth is spacious. Just don't come back, man. Like us being here in the gutter is for people like us. You know what I mean? Like people who are really like not afraid. So we have a duty to our people to, help our people. It's like this is the wajib Sheikh Haitham Haddad, not voting the Liberal Party. These are our people. We love our people. That's why we put ourselves in a line of fire. And even though it's difficult to love our people, to love our brothers, to love our sisters, we still love them. They are from us and we are from them. Even the Pookies and Ray Rays, even the Coons and the Shines and the Ham Bones. Okay? Even from the LGBTs and the whatchamacallit, the simps and whatnot. You know what I mean? They didn't get like that overnight. They didn't just wake up one day and decide, by themselves on their own reconnaissance, I'm going to be, a single mom, just like this. All of this is socially engineered. All of it. And we have concern for our people. So staying here is for people like us. But if you have, had enough, right? And you've opted out and you decided to go outside, right? Just save yourself and save your family. Save yourself and save your family, right? When you've gotten strong enough and you're ready to come back and help, okay, then come back. Right? But otherwise, just don't. Like, why put yourself through all the, you know what I mean? I'm not like, it's like, listen, just because I love you, don't mean that I have to like you. Right? I can love you and not like you. You know what I mean? We all have relatives like that, man. We all have like the, Uncle Pookie who, he's real funny, but he's so crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Chris Rock. He had that joke, right? He said because he's talking about America, right? America's like that uncle, right? Because like he's talking about the relationship between Black people in America, because America's like that uncle who paid your way through college but molested you, right?
Yeah. Now, the reason I asked that is because going back, and not to pick on I'm not picking on anybody, but we have to look at what exists. When we look at certain communities of African American Muslims, let's say again on the East Coast, taking the East Coast as an example, taking a neighborhood like Germantown and areas of New Jersey, where you have, a large population of Muslims. Lots of people converted to Al-Islam, people born first, second, and third generation in Islam at this point. And you can have people who their parents, the father may have been in thobe and kufi every day, and his mother was in niqab and all black, and they were going to the masjid and sitting in darus and all this other stuff. But now the son and the daughter are in full Pookie and Ray Ray mode. They've gone straight Pookie and Ray Ray mode. Because, and then show up to the and show up for the match every once in a while.
Exactly. It's because of that social engineering. You get it, right? The Salafi Dawah at one time it was working, and then it wasn't. It was working, was helping people, it was stable, and then it just wasn't. You know what I mean? And that wasn't an accident. I will never you will never be able to convince me that was an accident. Never in a million years. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fatima, may Allah reward you for your efforts, Ameen, on this important topic. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. And may Allah reward you as well. Fatima, may Allah bless you and multiply it for you 10,000-fold. Ameen. Everybody say Ameen. Everybody say Ameen to Fatima and to my dua. Ameen, 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 Ya Rab.
You said something earlier in the show. You said something earlier in the show about the youth, the Black youth, following what they've been told is Black culture.
Yes.
Something along those lines. Yes. Well, it doesn't seem like it's just the youth that are affected by that. It seems like it's some older people that seem to like people. It seems like Black people don't remember what Black culture used to be like 30 years ago.
Because we've never owned it. People who can't own something can't control. See, control comes in ownership, not just participation. You get it? If you don't own something, you don't control it. Who owns hip hop?
Well, we know
do Black people own
it. Certainly
do we have to say it? Who owns Black entertainment? Who owns it? Do black
The
people own
untouchable,
black?
the untouchables, the
Okay.
untouchable people.
And whoever pays the piper names the tune. Who owns the banks that do not give black people loans in order for them to get businesses, in order for them to be financially independent? And even if they did get a loan, the bank loan would be so astronomically usurious that they would never be able to pay that loan back. Who owns that?
Yes, yes. Same people.
So we have never owned our culture. We've been told by people who are hostile to black people that this is your culture. And
You know what? Looking back now,
you have no shortage of people willing to push satanic agendas on black people, because if you are poor and you are broke, the second that you get a little bit of money, it'll be easy for you to sell your own people out. So easy. If you don't, control, go ahead.
No, I didn't want to cut off your thought. I was just going to say, it seems like the push for putting black faces in entertainment seems like a master plan. Because you can kill two birds with one stone. One, you can have the illusion of inclusion. Look at all these black entertainers, sports and people and rappers and actors, and you have black millionaires and now billionaires at this point. But at the same time, they're all pushing this quote unquote the culture upon the people. At the same time, you killed two birds with one stone.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Now, look, there's a civil war going on right now internationally, right, between what is known as conservatives and what is known as liberals. Okay, this left-right paradigm. The reason why this civil war is happening internationally, you know why it's happening?
Well,
do you know why it's happening?
I would guess is that. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would guess that the both two extremes are being put forth to people to get people to choose what's in the middle.
Nope, that's not why. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Mizan got it. Population decrease. That's why. That's why. Let's go back to Sister T. Would you suggest that sisters who don't want to deal with Ray Ray and Pookie men get passports too? First of all, let's make dua for Sister Tika. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you 10,000-fold. Ameen. Right. As for women, their situation is different because if they're a good woman, a man will marry them. You don't have to go anywhere. You really do not have to go anywhere. A man will find you if you're a good woman. Right. The problem with black women is the lack of accountability has been so ingrained in their psyche that they think lack of accountability is accountability. You get it? So the norm is to blame everybody else for your unsuccessful endeavors instead of looking at yourself. Whereas other women, they don't have this issue. You get it? It wouldn't make any sense for a black woman to go anywhere else to find a husband. That doesn't make any sense, because anywhere that she goes, even if she were to find a husband somewhere else, she would have found the same caliber of man right there where she is, because she would have to basically get a man that she can control. You get it? If you think about the women who go overseas to get married, right? They're always marrying what types of men, right? And we mentioned this in our other live. They're marrying men who need visas, okay? They're marrying men who need money, right? You could just get that here, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to go in. You don't have to spend all that money. But if you are marriage material, a man will find you, and that's why I said, for the good woman, they have to distance themselves from the heifer patrol. The reason
Yes.
why men are opting out, or they're the passport bros, is because of the environment in the West that is affecting specifically Black women. Unapproachable, overly masculine, just a litany of destruction everywhere they go with relationships and single mother and all the kind. That, like, who wants to choose from that? That's why they're going overseas, because that doesn't exist overseas. But the man that you want, I promise you, he's somewhere in your neighborhood.
No, I agree with everything you just said. The sisters have to. First of all, if you stand in stark contrast, to Nene and them, even Nene and them with a niqab, it's it's like what Elijah Muhammad said in the Michael X movie. You offer them a clean glass of water and a dirty glass of water. It'll be it'll be the brother who's good brother for marriage. He will notice that. Now, so sisters don't have to do all that. So if a white sister can come into a masjid, teach you how to get a marriage proposal before she even learned Surah Al-Fatiha, I'm sure, I'm positive that a good righteous Black sister can find herself a husband. Also, you just have to, like I said, you have to stand and start contrast to the rest of everything else that's out here.
Exactly. That's what it is. There are men that are looking for good women. And as for us here, we really have a problem with brothers who insist on marrying these types of women, because they make the good women more invisible, right? So the good women, they are the ones who have to, make the initiative to distance themselves from the heifer patrol. They have to take the initiative. Really, a good woman don't have to. Like, if a woman understands how to be. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, in reality, from my personal experience, the brothers who keep marrying Nene and them, it's because, one, they don't want the responsibility of a righteous woman.
Yeah, of course.
Or
they're actually seeking that out.
Exactly. They don't want that. They don't. They just want to appear. The brother. I've seen these brothers. They're the brothers who they show up at a masjid out of nowhere. They just show up at a masjid out of nowhere. They got the longest beard and the widest thobe, and they can rattle off sayings of the Salaf, and they look and then they stick around in the community for a few months. Then they want to get married, and they marry Nene and them. And then they get divorced and they get up and go to another city and go marry Nene and them in that city and get up and go to another city. Because in reality, all that dazzling white thobe and quoting behind all that is just Pookie.
Thank you. This is why we have to take responsibility of who even seeks knowledge in our community. You know what I mean? If we're gonna have brothers seeking knowledge of Islam in our community, they better have the best manners, because you will be sending Pookie and Ray Ray to go out to seek knowledge, and then Pookie and Ray Ray come back with seek knowledge. Now you gave them access to all the women in the community. You gave him access to all the women in the community, and he's just Pookie. He's just Pookie and Ray Ray. What happened to that? Whatchamacallit? Anwar Wright. You know what he's spreading besides knowledge in the community?
Tell me, brother.
Should we say it on this? Even I'm so shy to say it, man. What else is he spreading besides knowledge in the community? Because he's a Pookie and a Ray Ray. Yes, Andrew wrong. We got brothers like this. Brothers who go and they get knowledge. They didn't have the good manners before they went, and they came back with knowledge, and as Sister Asiata said, gutter behavior. What is the number one city of STDs in America? Which city has the most STDs? Nope. The same city that has the most STDs is the same city that has the most black Muslims.
Oh, wow. Did not know that.
Okay. And you can guess what Andrew Wrong is spreading now, besides knowledge. Even it's so embarrassing to even like it's like even for me to say it. Yeah, you know me, I'm ready to say anything, bro. But you know what I mean? But this is what's going on, bro.
But that's no different than that's no different than the bishop. That behavior is no different than the bishop, the pastor.
Yeah. You know,
it's the same. It's the same MO.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Anwar and them, they're not really concerned about the community like that. Anyways, they just want to make sure that Ahlul Bid'ah are not taking their money. All right, the Ahlul Bid'ah and the Hizbiyah. Right?
I mean, it's embarrassing if you think about it. If you just think about it, it's embarrassing to think over the last 30 years of, what happened, specifically concerning Black Muslims and Salafiyah. So the biggest problem that Black Muslims were facing, living where they were living, was, the hordes of Hizbiyah, or the whatever, weird words they were coming up with. Marabi was the biggest threat to Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly.
Or East Orange, or to LA or Detroit or to Chicago. It wasn't, subhanAllah. And you have a community of people who are undereducated, underemployed, people in poverty, single mothers, children with different fathers, and broken homes, people that don't have the basic things to live a basic life, people without housing, people without transportation.
But we must refute his bless and then matter be. Like, what was you talking about, nigga? Like, come on, man. Anyways, bro, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I want to thank everybody who donated. I really, really, really appreciate it. And Allah reward you and bless you all and multiply for you all 1,000-fold. Ameen. I want to thank everybody who joined. I want to thank the brother over in Dawa, Abu Yazid. And Abu Yazid, I'll let you get the last words in.
There is a solution to these problems. Of course, it's all found in Islam. You as an individual can benefit and partake of those solutions. If you can give dawah to your family and get some of your family members to partake in it, that's a great blessing. But you may have to walk that road by yourself.
Yep. I mean,
that's all I got to
for
say.
the sisters who are reformed, right? It's really, you got a duty yourselves to call sisters to fear Allah, and this behavior really has to stop, man. And the brothers too, man. The brothers, this culture of, how can I say it, man? Like the undisciplined, sexually undisciplined nature of black men, and as well as the type of inferiority complex that most black men they have, right? The feeling that they can't accomplish things and these type of things, right? It's one thing to say that it has to stop, but really what I encourage black men to do is to really get together, man, and start being around your brothers more. You're going to find that you have a lot more in common than you think, and that's how you're going to build. There's nothing more motivated than a black man who's sick and tired of being sick and tired. And the more of you that there are together, you guys can move mountains through the will of Allah, man. And I want to leave it at that. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. We got another Fire Live tomorrow about who runs hip hop. I think it's tomorrow, inshallah. All right. Subhanaka wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We are the Muslim wing of the black grassroots. Unapologetic, strong, uncompromising voices that have been in the faces of the enemy and those who tap dance for them. The Feachaz is proud to present the archives exclusively on Patreon.